the end of our presentation, you'll probably see what all the hype is about, hopefully. And to start things off, we have one of our own in the field.
Gary.
Thank you, Rangita. Hi, everyone. I'm the Armour section of Dick's Sporting Goods. Please disregard the green pewter on my body. I'm in a very industrial section of New Jersey. A few years ago, this Under Armour section there have only been a small display with only performance t-shirts. Today, as you can see, the company has expanded their offering greatly and now consumes an area similar in size to the likes of Nike and Reebok. Under Armour was founded in 1996 by former University of Maryland football player Kevin Plank. While playing football, Kevin would frequently have to change his cotton clothes during practice due to them being drenched in sweat. For anyone old enough to remember wearing cotton shirts and shorts while playing sports, they were also uncomfortable when they were dry. Kevin decided to produce an advanced t-shirt made out of special material that whisked away sweat from the body towards the outside so it could evaporate into the air. He traveled around the country selling his shirt to college sports teams and equipment managers. His marketing pitch was that his material kept athletes dry, comfortable, and lighter, therefore producing a better performing athlete. One of his first orders came from his alma mater, the Maryland Terrapins. I recently reached out to an old friend and a fellow loyal Greyhound lacrosse player who is now a sales representative at Under Armour. Suzanne Williams was a three-time All-American on the women's team at Loyola. Suzanne says she's always been passionate about sports and being part of a team. She started working at Under Armour because, according to her, working at Under Armour is exactly like being part of a sports team. Kevin, the CEO, runs the company like a team from every angle. Meetings are referred to as huddles, and employees are called teammates. The office is like a locker room. She went on to say that everyone has fun, but they're all extremely aggressive and working towards a winning goal. There is pressure to succeed, but most of that is self-imposed, and you don't want to let the team down. It's a very young company, with the average age being around 29. Everyone at Under Armour follows Kevin's 4 pillars of greatness. And just a caveat, everyone refers to him as Kevin, and he's totally hands-on in all aspects of the company. He is viewed there as the Steve Jobs of fitness apparel. The 4 pillars are: always tell a great story. Make sure we're telling the right story to the consumer. Build a great product. Under Armour considers themselves a technology company, not a clothing company. Service the business. Under Armour believes customer service is the most important aspect of the company. No questions asked when a customer has an issue with the product. Build a great team. When recruiting new talent, they always choose whoever will be the best teammate. 18 years later, from its inception, and Under Armour is much more than just a t-shirt provider. Today it offers innovative products for all different sports. Originally targeting football and lacrosse teams, the company now caters to all sports enthusiasts, including golfers, skiers, and hunters. They even have a line of practical items tailored towards the military. They supply a number of colleges and professional teams with uniforms and gear. This includes landing their biggest contract in 2012 with the English Premier League team, Tottenham Hotspur. This greatly expanded their global marketing footprint as it is the most popular sports team on the planet. Under Armour was born and is still headquartered in Baltimore, Maryland today. They have offices all around the globe, most notably opening their European offices based at the Olympic Stadium in Amsterdam. The Under Armour mission statement is to make all athletes better through passion, design, and the relentless pursuit of innovation. This passion has also led to great success for the company. Now the financials. Under Armour has seen a tremendous amount of financial growth since inception, but I'll only be discussing the past 5 years. During that time, their compound annual growth rate has averaged a whopping 26.3%. They had sales of $725 million back in 2008. Growing each year, they had sales last year of $2.3 billion. Last year's income before interest expenses from operations stood at $265 million, and after-tax income from total operations stood at $162 million. That's a jump from only $46 million 5 years ago back in 2009. Under Armour's cost of revenue came in at $1.14 billion in 2013. The majority of this comes from the cost of goods and employee salaries. The current ratio shows how able a company is to pay back its short-term liabilities like debt and accounts payable. UA's current ratio is 2.6, meaning we can turn this product, mainly apparel, very quickly into cash to pay off the debts. This makes Under Armour very liquid, and this is what investors like to see. At 2013 Investors Day, Under Armour laid out a roadmap, doubled their business by 2016. Kevin's goal, and the goal of the teammates, is to reach $4 billion in revenue by 2016. How do I plan on reaching that goal? I'll let my teammates tell that story. Thanks, everyone, and I'll see you all in China. Now back to you two.
Very well done, but I want to ask him questions.
We'll answer it. Okay, all right. So back to me. So I'll go over the current strategy that Under Armour has. And before I start, I just wanted to highlight their milestones. So Gary talked about the inception when Kevin Plank started in 1995. And started with about $20,000 of his own personal savings and $40,000 in credit cards. And that's pretty much how we got the business started. In 1997, Kevin sells $100,000 worth of product to NFL football teams. So that was impressive there. And in 98, just a year after, they were requested to make uniforms for the movie Any Given Sunday. So that was the first theatrical, chance that they had to get some recognition and praise their product in the mainstream way. So in 2000, they started off with advertising campaigns. We saw a lot of their commercials. We even have a new commercial. We had an opportunity to see Michael Phelps in Subway commercials, putting on Under Armour outfits while eating his Subway sandwiches. So going back to the strategy, so what Under Armour started to do is try to gain some market share overseas in foreign markets. So they've made a lot of strides there. One of the things that they've done is they've started with licensing with a couple of folks. So in Asia, to be specific, in areas in Asia, they've started licensing with partners there. They've opened up an experience shop, and I think in our last presentation, we talked about the digitailing, about the whole experience and just creating the awareness, the brand awareness in Asia. So that's been working very well for them. So also, when it comes to the brand awareness, we can see that we'll show you a couple of slides on what they've done in football teams in foreign countries. So, for example, in Chile, in Latin America, they've teamed up with Colo-Colo. Colo-Colo is one of the well-known teams in Chile, so they have they've done. So this is an example of another jersey that they made for Tottenham in the UK. So Tottenham is a well-known club there, so it's pretty much just a great amount of placement that they have going right now in overseas. So this is the jersey from the Japanese one, Omiya Adia. So just gets a product placement in Asia, and then lastly, the Colo-Colo in Chile. Just really go back here just to highlight part of their strategy. So we talked about the foreign markets. They made their first ever acquisition of MapMyFitness, which was $150 million. And what that did for them was pretty much get them access to 200 million users of the product. I mean, it's an open-ended product. Anybody here familiar with MapMyFitness?
Yep. Okay,
so runners, Ryan, Diego, I'm sure they know the MapMyFitness product very well. Now they've incorporated a method whereby you can actually input the food that you eat on a daily basis to track and make sure that you're achieving your fitness goal. Diversification of product offerings. Now Under Armour has moved into the space of manufacturing apparel for female runners, and not leaving them out of the mix. We have the UA Next, so kids' outfit, the boys have their t-shirts, they have their the workout apparel. I know we talked about the league sports club that you've seen in Asia, in London, and that's one in Japan. All right. So the concerns really now is pricing. So analysts, UA analysts have said, you know what, Under Armour, you might be undercharging. Compared to Adidas and Nike, we're looking at difference of 12 to 30% price, 12% less than Adidas and 30% less than Nike. So analysts are considering, they're proposing and talking to Under Armour about raising their price and getting more revenue and getting more, increasing their margins. So market penetration, we're achieving more sales in the U.S. Over the last 2012 to 13, there's been a significant increase, and then we also penetrate new markets. And once we create awareness and we continue to improve there, the sales will come and we penetrate more. So success in foreign markets, we talked about the licensing we talked about the licensing in Asia, so they sell apparel there. We also work with some direct supply there as well. Now, the question we asked ourselves, and we pose this to you as well, is Under Armour too far behind? Because here we have 6% of Under Armour's sales overall were sold internationally, compared to Nike, who's at 45% of their annual sales. So are they really far behind? So that's the question we pose, and that takes us to the next slide. So if we take a look at the Under Armour's structure here, we take a look at their sales in 2012, 2011. We see how they're improving, and they're doing very, very well, and they will continue to grow, and they're turning in the right direction. All right. So this just gives you an idea of the stock price, what analysts, what people are saying about Under Armour, what the market is saying, or what the market feels about Under Armour. So there's huge, huge, huge potential. I was watching Bloomberg a couple of weeks ago, and they had an avid investor. He's about 22 years old, but he's been making a lot of the right calls lately. So you talked to him, you talked about Under Armour and him picking. He actually bought Under Armour at about $111. And the analyst said, you know what, isn't that too high of a price for you to buy? He said, listen, I have a great feeling about Under Armour, and it's going to continue to rise. So, all right, so this gives us, this is the 5-year stock of Under Armour, how it's been performing. All right, so here's what analysts are saying, and Google, as a matter of fact, we have the 5-year trailing growth rate for Under Armour. We can look at it compared to Nike. So, I mean, just to highlight that they have such great potential, and they are moving in the right direction. So Google Trends indicate that UA is ripe for international expansion, and they have a lot of faith in Under Armour as well. All right, so I'll pass it on to Ranjita to talk about innovation.
Okay, so the R&D team at UA, they know that they can't invent all great things all the time. So what they did was they came up with this brilliant strategy of they have a submission site. It's kind of like American Idol for innovators. If anyone can submit an idea online, and there's a panel of judges, there's a 3-phase competition where the top winner receives $25,000, a contract with Under Armour, and the best part of this competition is the fact that the participants retain the intellectual property rights. So it's not like they're trading in money for their idea for money. So just to give you an idea, the 2013 winner was a father who had a son that was what is it called? Longboarding? You know what longboarding is?
Yes.
It's basically a elongated skateboard. His son was skateboarding late at night, and he was concerned for his safety, so he developed a motion-based lighting system to put in the front and the back of his skateboards to make it a little more safe, I guess. So what he did was he tweaked this technology. He had placed inside shirts of joggers who were running at night. So it's actually a tiny rechargeable lithium battery is embedded in, drives the technology into the apparel itself. So there's no clunky wires, there's nothing to get in the way. 2 years ago, the winner was just an everyday guy that submitted an idea of putting together a zipper that you can zip up with one hand. So it's a little magnet that once the zippers come close together, it automatically closes, and then you can just zip it up with one hand. So that was the winner 2 years ago, and Under Armour has put it into their products. In fall of 2014, it's going to be in 400,000 of their jackets, and they're actually considering it putting in their outerwear as well. Now projections. So they're actually on trend. Every projection they've made, they're surpassed. For 2016, they're looking to do even better. They're focusing on women's apparel, where they're altering the retail experience, customizing stores to fill the need of their female customers. They also signed a deal with USA Gymnastics, and they're hoping that would actually help in strengthening the brand image with their female customers. Right now, Under Armour has 1.14 market share in the women's sports footwear market, 11% in the apparel segment, and 19% in the yoga bottom segment. That's not very big, and that's why they're putting a lot of their focus on that right now as well. So just to give you a comparison, many of you know Lululemon is an apparel store for women, and Lululemon has 891,000 fans on Facebook, but Under Armour actually has 2.7 million. They've been around a lot longer, but Under Armour's market cap is 9.2 million as opposed to 8.5 for Lululemon. So there's definitely potential. So the footwear, they're focusing on mainly basketball and running. And the company, they're launching innovative footwear technologies, they're enhancing their distribution network, they're hiring new talents, and they have plans on expanding their marketing efforts. The footwear sales grew 32% in 2012, and they're expected to continue further. Okay, so this is the projection revenue for Next, which is also their youth segment, which is, they feel like it is vastly underserved, and it contributes to $220 million of the company's revenue. And it is expected to grow more than 100% by 2016 to $470 million, which is amazing. The sales numbers basically is reflected from, these revenue numbers are reflected from their sales with their youth-based customers.
So today we're gonna introduce Under Armour Next, and what Next 9. And Under Armour Next 9 is our youth-based strategy to start to, get into a first opportunity mover. You hear a first mover, but there's a first opportunity mover when you have that first opportunity to influence someone to buy your brand at a young age. So grassroots youth movement, we have this Map My Fitness platform. We don't use it. It's there. We support so many devices, but we're not utilizing it at all. It's ready to be used. And also a partnership. There's joint venture and partnerships when you want to penetrate markets. And I think that the kids market is really, really underserved in this movement, and especially by Under Armour. R&D, as Ranjita mentioned, and technology. We have to put all these things together. We have to combine them all to come up with what Next 9 is all about, and that's what we're here to show you today. So let's look at the fitness device market. Fitbit, Jawbone, Nike had 97% of the fitness tracker retail sales in 2013. It's projected this year, as you see up there, 1.15 billion. By 2018, 14 billion. Now the statistics aren't even available for children. What, you know, and I say, you know, or what about the kids? You know, I could hear Chris Rock saying that right now, like, what about the kids? And then you have like, women are the biggest consumers in this area. Also, government. Our government has a activity initiative, and you know, a lot of brands and our competitors are beating Under Armour to the point of action on this. So let's look at Fitbit. Here's Fitbit, up 24. I think John has up 24. There it is, if you want to see it. Of course, what do I have? The Fuel Band by Nike. And the Garmin BioFit, which is a pretty new entry.
That's cool.
And then, of course, there is the technology, the apps. Everybody has an app. You don't even need a device, but everybody has a device. You wait for the Bluetooth to connect, and all of a sudden, you know, you push all your activity, your friends, like, I'm doing something you're not. So I give examples of, you know, here's another app. Then there's the Nike app. And then we have the tracking dashboards. This is actually my dashboard. It's not up to date, so it's actually from March 23rd. And this is half of the technology. This is half of the experience. You know, getting this interaction in this platform. And with kids, they want this interaction. I mean, and I give this as an example. Like, this is Nike's. And then my friend Dimitri was nice enough to, you know, gloat with his New York City Marathon and Garmin. And as you can see the difference, this is really a little more sophisticated than the Nike one. And the Nike one, you want to just like touch the screen. This one's like, hey, I ran this and that's it. It's a little more intuitive. MapMyFitness. MapMyFitness.com, own it, great platform. One thing about this platform is it supports so many devices. It supports the fuel bands. It supports everything, every device. It supports, and Under Armour owns it. I mean, I could pull up a slide of, you know, it's one platform, supported devices. It's a huge scrolling list. It's actually probably, if you printed it, it'd be like 4 or 5 pages. So that brings us to what we're going to unveil today. It's the UA9. And the UA9 is actually a device. And there it is. There is the UA9. The UA9 is a wearable and a flexible. As you can see, it says, and it's for children. As you can see, it says, hi, Kenny. You know, it's Kenny's device. Tracks his distance he runs or moves throughout the day, how many calories, the time, and who he's challenging at the time. Because all these kids today, they're inside doing Xbox Live. They're doing, you know, all these online gaming things. Why don't we take the kids out of the living room and put them out into the field and, you know, doing activity that is, you know, physical movement. And also, as you can see, the challenges, challenging your friends, and then what the position, what the place is. He's in third place.
Displays on the device.
Is on the device. And when I say flexible, because we all talk about wearables. Flexibles are things you can actually bend and flex and still work. So I was watching a keynote by a company, and they said, you know, we all talk about wearables and wearing the technology. That technology has to be durable and flexible to withstand sport activity. And that's the whole idea when we get into a little more about the device. We're going to talk about partnerships and leagues that will approve kids wearing this device in the field of play. So, went over it again, $1.15 billion. Under Armour has 0 of it, and they have one of the best platforms that's just sitting there. It's like if John bought you know, a Bugatti and let it sit in the garage. He said, that's my car, and he never drove it. And he couldn't even open his garage. He just had to tell people it's behind that door. That's what MapMyFitness is for Under Armour right now. So we want to start with, starting with children 8 and up. GPS, I went over calories, social integration, I spoke about that, flexible. The mapmyfitness.com for kids.
You gotta speed up a bit.
Yep. And then partnerships, fit. We're going to partner with the EMBA to get kids to move. Play 60. Little League. Cheerleading and dance. We talk about a lot of kids. You think, boys, we want to definitely give this to women too and young girls to wear when they're doing their cheerleading and dancing. And also here, our competitors getting ahead of us, 50 million. And Mrs. Obama was at this event, taking this donation from Nike. And here's the site, Let's Move by the government. Marketing positions, family bundle at retail. We want to put this out. Eventually, we want to put out an adult device to complement that the family is going into this space together. Build brand loyalty at the first opportunity. Nike did this with Nike skateboarding. I know I'm a little older than most of you, but when skateboarding first came, when it got cool, it was airwalks and Vans. Now, if you look around, everyone's wearing Nike because they went to the skate shops and they went to the youngest professionals and signed them. So when they're 16, they're wearing Nikes and they're influencing. So then when they're 20, they have such brand loyalty, it transfers into revenue. And cross-selling. This device will be able to connect with Under Armour's wearables and footwear down the line. And we'll be able to package that back to the bundles. So the new projection. Now Regina's going to talk about the projections.
I'm going to make it quick, I promise. So these are the projections for the youth. With Next 9, we're projecting that it's going to actually go up to $823 million. That's 353 more, which is around 75%. Okay. So our future projections, 2018, we're expecting a 12% market share and a revenue of 1.68 billion related to Under Armour Next 9. Sorry. And that was basically it.
And yeah, I'll explain the Next 9 is, everyone talks about, to the second power, to the third power. If we get in early enough, the exponential growth of the Under Armour Next is, to the 9th power, because these kids are going to get it, and in 4 to 5 years, they're 8 years old, they're 12, they're going to know nothing else but Under Armour, and therefore, and they'll be brand ambassadors because they'll be wearing the device and using it, and that's it. Any questions?